This is Action News at 10 with your co-anchors, Francesca Fabulosa and Badrinky White Man. Give us 60 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Thank you, Henry. I'm Francesca Fabulosa.
And I'm Beldronicus Whiteman. Again, that's Beldronicus Whiteman, not Badrinky White Man. Got that, Henry?
Hey, I call him as I see him.
This is an Action News at 10 special report. Why woke doesn't work, an in-depth analysis of the woke phenomenon and its grip on Hollywood with an emphasis on the Disney company. Francesca.
Thank you, Belle. Well, the next great fight we can all get excited about doesn't include any professional boxers, wrestlers or obese YouTube personalities with an axe to grind. It's a fight between rival Snow Whites. The Disney Snow White versus the Daily Wire Snow White, with Rachel Zegler playing the Disney Snow White versus Brett Cooper playing her rival Daily Wire Snow White, and it's all coming to movie theaters in 2024. The Daily Wire's newly established film and television entertainment arm, Benke, has fast-tracked this film specifically to compete with the release of Disney's Snow White on the certainty that Disney is going to get it wrong, which is something that Disney has been doing a lot of in recent years by remaking all of their old cartoon classics into hideous, woke, CGI nightmares devoid of charm or a soul. The Walt Disney Company has been a top studio for the last 100 years, and, more often than not, their family-friendly movies and TV shows were a hit with audiences.
But that was before Disney went woke and made diversity and inclusion more important than the story they were telling. Rather than develop new ideas with compelling stories and likable characters, Disney's misguided commitment to DEI culture has left us with an ever-increasing list of bad remakes of the same movies over and over again. All studios have had big hits in the past, but they still strive to find and produce their next big hit rather than pull old hits from 20, 50, 70 years ago and remake that hoping it'll hit again. Disney's creative bankruptcy is symptomatic of their fear of failure. But by fearing to chase success by developing new ideas, they've condemned themselves to an ongoing loop of defeat in a hopeless effort to repeat the past.
The hit movies of yesterday were developed as new and original ideas that struck a chord with the audience. There was no guarantee that these films would succeed, but their respective studios believed in them, did their best to produce them, then released them, and crossed their fingers hoping for a hit. They weren't afraid to try, nor did they have a checklist of DEI points they were mandated to hit. All this race swapping, gender swapping, underrepresented group casting feels to the viewer just like what it is: tokenism masquerading as social awareness. Here's a black character, a Latino, gay, lesbian, disabled, going down the list until all the boxes had been ticked, regardless whether or not the story calls for it or benefits from it. Forcing DEI into every story waters it down and is perceived by the viewer as disingenuous. It all feels tacked on and insincere, because it is.
This is why woke doesn't work. It's not an organic, naturally flowing part of the story. It's just the forced inclusion of identity politics into the plot, and it ruins whatever story you're trying to tell. It's like trying to make a cake with motor oil because you've been ordered to do so. You can try, but the cake will be ruined. So, why is the Walt Disney Company so fixated on its subsumption despite the irrefutable mountain of evidence that it's the wrong way to make entertainment that appeals to the widest possible audience when, contrarily, it appeals to the fewest? To answer this, we're going live to the University of Greater Philadelphia for the expert commentary of Professor Uni Glubin of the Department of Socio-Political Sciences. Our man in the field is reporter Michael Bendix. Michael. Thanks, Badrinky. This is Michael Bendix live at UGP, and I'm talking to this man, Professor Uni Glubin, chair of the Department of Socio-Political Sciences. Greetings, Professor Glubin. Very kind of you to speak with us.
Think nothing of it.
Professor, the question has been asked tonight: why is the Walt Disney Company so fixated on an agenda of diversity, equality, and inclusion in their films when the audience has sent the clear signal that it's not wanted? In fact, the message from the global audience has been one of unanimous rejection of these woke movies, leading to the loss of billions of dollars in profits and stock value. Yet they stubbornly double down rather than admit their mistake and correct it.
Well, don't think nothing of it. Clearly, I didn't have to be here, so you can probably think something of it.
I'm sorry. What?
We needn't get hung up on social pleasantries, but yeah, it was damn nice of me.
Yes, well, okay, Professor. What about the Walt Disney Company and their forced inclusion of identity politics into their films? If their primary goal is to maximize profits, then why pursue this strategy that has proven itself to be contrary to that goal?
You know which Disney movie I like best? That one where the young lady travels to a land of midgets and is ordered by this big fiery head to whack some nasty green bitch for her broomstick. She had a weird bunch of friends and this yappy little mutt. That was a good movie.
Professor, I think we're getting off track here. What about the question at hand? Why does the Disney Company embrace a woke agenda when their films and profits suffer so much from it?
They also sang a lot in that movie, something about rainbows or wizards. Shit like that. That little girl had a nice voice and a smokin' bod.
Yes, Professor, that was the Wizard of Oz. Can we please discuss the topic at hand?
I love movies with midgets. They're so funny being all little and can you imagine how tiny their dicks must be?
Professor, please, your language and your choice of words, you're going to get us into trouble with the FCC.
Did you have any questions relative to my field of expertise, or did you just ask me here to shoot the shit about movies?
Matt, his language?
We'll bleep him. Keep going.
Yes, we'd like you to give us your analysis of what has motivated Disney to pursue a business model that has had such disastrous results quarter after quarter.
I think they're being retarded.
Oh my God.
I'm sure you don't mean that, Professor Glubin.
I'm sure I do. A moron could see what they're doing isn't working, so give it up and just start making good movies again. How hard is that to see? Iger's got the IQ of a potato bug.
That's a very pedestrian view of the issue. Can you offer us more nuance and insight?
No, not really. How much nuance do you need to understand a guy whose head is firmly up his ass?
Professor, you are the recipient of the 2006 Hedge Prize for Advanced Sociology and a fellow with the Fields Foundation.
I'm also league champion with the Baxtertown Tornadoes. I've bowled a perfect 300 game. Twice.
My point being, I'm sure a man of your education can offer us a greater insight into the self-destructive behavior of the Disney Company. Don't they consider themselves answerable to their stockholders anymore? Hasn't the catastrophic loss of income and precipitous drop in stock value registered with them?
I don't know. Get Bob Iger on and ask him. He loves to be on TV.
I'm asking you. You were asked to be here to speak as an authority on the subject.
Of course, I can offer you my insight. You asked me about Disney. You know what other Disney movie I like a lot? That one with Steve Martin and the fat guy where they're trying to get home for Thanksgiving but nothing goes right. No matter what they try, the fat guy fucks it up. It's hysterical. Have you seen it?
His name was John Candy and it was planes, trains, and automobiles and it wasn't Disney. It was Paramount and MGM made The Wizard of Oz. You haven't made one salient point about the issue we asked you to weigh in on, and the points you have made about your favorite Disney movies have all been wrong. Professor Glubin, you strike me as not being a very intelligent person despite your academic achievements. In fact, Professor, your appearance on this show has made all of us dumber. What do you have to say for yourself?
Hey, you asked me here. I could have gone bowling and spent this time with friends and cool people. Instead, I came here and wasted an entire evening talking to some pseudo-intellectual dipshit who probably can't even break 150.
Take us out, Francesca.
That's all from the Action News Studio. We'll see you here again tomorrow night, and remember, give us 60 minutes and we'll give you the world.
We're clear.
Well, that was a fiasco. Do the Emmys give out awards for biggest shit show of the year? 'Cause we're a lock. I'd better get my CV together. I hear there's an opening at the Rant Box.